Yes.
So keep drinking it.
Greetings, effortless beingers. We're still trying to have a good launch on one of our effortless being. They always come in at the worst times. Okay, so ladies, we got Angela and Deanna here who have now done. Is it 5 or 6 full weeks of meditating every day?
Yes.
If this is the sixth session, that's
Yes.
5 weeks now, right?
5 weeks.
Yes.
Now, just in the act of having done that differently with your mind now, what can you tell me about how your mind feels different, like now in daily life?
I'm able to relax faster. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes. No, it does. Because I was going to say the same thing.
But, you know, when I'm at work and we're doing training and I'm getting all this information at once and you're trying to compartmentalize it and bring it to the forefront when it's necessary. And sometimes you get agitated when you can't remember things you just learned. I know I get agitated. Like I just learned it, and I start to a little mini freak out. But I'm able to calm myself down a lot faster than I used to, and I just let it go.
Nice. Nice. And anything you've noticed, Angela?
You know, and I was going to say the same thing Deanna said. I'm finding it a little easier to calm down. I spilt my protein shake on me. 'Tis the season. So, for instance, yesterday, this exam at school, this really hard exam, 100 questions, we had the whole class time to take it. I get the exam. The very first question I look at, I'm lost, completely lost, blank. So I started to giggle, and I just thought, you know what? Just close my eyes and breathe and just let it go, because I'm not going to be able to change it. There isn't anything I can change about it. Just relax for a minute and just breathe and let it go. So I just pushed it to one side. I closed my eyes and I just pictured the exam and just kind of like took it all in and then just breathed it all out. And then when I opened my eyes, I was able to move forward, and I didn't have that sudden panic feeling,
Anxiety.
that feeling of, oh my God, I don't know the damn answer. I'm not going to be able to answer these questions. This is going to be horrible. I skipped the very first question, went to the second one, and the ones that I didn't know, I just wrote them down on a piece of paper and then went back to them after, and I didn't have the anxiety and the stress that I would normally have with that panicky feeling of, oh my God, I got to get this, oh my God, I got to get it done. I can't read it, and I got to get it done. And I kind of giggled at some of the questions. I was like, don't know it, have no idea. We didn't discuss that yet. Oh, well, whatever. That one looks pretty reasonable. And typically, for me, I mean, I'm such a perfectionist that if I don't get an A, I feel like I failed myself, I failed my family, I failed my career. I walked out of there going, if I get a D, I'll be happy. It was nice. I must say, it was really nice.
It is free.
For me to be exactly to be free and just say, you know what, F it. It's not worth it. It's not worth my stress, and it's not worth any more undoing of my mind. It just wasn't worth it, and it felt liberating, very liberating.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you both for sharing that. And that's the whole point and purpose of effortless being. And you have both made the first step towards that experience by realizing that you have a choice, right?
Yeah.
You have a choice to react in fear, or to react with regret, or to react with anger, or to react with curiosity, or to react with love or gratitude, right? You have choice how to react in every given circumstance, and how you make that choice will affect your physiology, which will then continue to affect your neurological, chemistry.
We lost you. Oh no.
Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, you just cut out for like a whole 10 seconds.
And I said some important stuff too. Yeah, I don't know how much you actually missed, but I was basically
Started with the physiology.
right, right. I'm saying the importance of learning that you have a decision in that process, and that your decision not only affects your experience of that moment, but it also affects your physiology in powerful ways that are either negative or positive. But either way, they're going to be powerful. And one of the books that, if you guys continue in the Effortless being process, one of the books I'll be talking a lot about is The Biology of Belief, in which Bruce Lipton shows on a biological level how perception is more important than environment. Perception is more important than stimulus.
Yeah.
He shows it at the level of individual cells, and he shows that all cells can be in one of two states at any given time. They're either in growth or protection. Every cell in your body is either in a growth phase or a protection phase. And when your cell goes into a protection phase, all of the life-giving processes stop.
Yes.
So that all energy can be diverted to fight or flight. And the same thing happens in your body. All of your viscera, all your internal organs, the oxygen flow gets restricted tremendously, while most of the oxygen goes out to the extremities for fighting or flighting, right?
Yes.
These things take place at the level of the mind, based on our perceptions, how we perceive things. And as you begin to learn to make that decision, to shift how you perceive something and then experience it, it's going to literally affect your biology. And it's going to literally affect how you engage with the world around you, right? Now, the importance of this is not any one specific technique that I've taught you when we've covered a slew of tools, right? I've given you a lot of tools. What's important is that none of the tools matter. What's important is that you guys have been putting in the time every day to go to your center and let your mind defrag. Right? When the mind's going all the time, it's like this. And it's like you're trying to make decisions, and then this feeling creates a thought, and then that thought creates a feeling. And then, well, but what about, and then my can, and then my bills, and then my whatever. But when you create a little bit of space, that happens. And then you can look at one thing really clearly and easily and go, here are my fucking bills. Okay, this is what it's going to take. Done. Right? But when it's all of this, where are my bills at? Oh my God, where's my money at? Where's my account? I can't find my card. I got to pay it. Right? And so I want you guys to understand that the most important thing that you have gained from going through this process is creating that space every day for your mind to do this, because now it can actually choose what it wants to focus on, right? And it can be your ex-boyfriend or your boyfriend, or it can be your school, your schoolmate that's a bitch, or your mother or your father or your husband. You can put your focus anywhere you want to once you know focus. But while it's doing this, you're like, my mom and my dad, and I hate you, and then I'm sad, and it's just, So that's the most important thing that you got from this experience, and I hope and pray that both of you continue that practice in a way that grows proportionately to the benefits that you receive from it.
Yes.
Okay? And so, if you receive a little bit of benefit, then it makes sense to really keep focusing and giving that time. If you receive a lot of benefit, what happens if you up your time? I bet you might get more benefit. You know what I'm saying? Begin to, we started at 60 seconds, which wasn't actually 60 seconds because we're counting with our breath. So it's maybe 3 minutes, Yeah. Maybe 3 minutes to count to 60 with your inhales and exhales. So, and that's shorter than even most meditation programs will tell you to start at 5 minutes, right? No, just count to 60, man. Just count to 60 and watch what happens. And just watch what happens, okay? And once you're comfortable going to 60, now go to 100, right? And for each step of the journey, I can give you a whole different slew of stuff to try to work on being mindful of and stuff to work on controlling. And what happens is you tailor, focus your mind to being able to hit smaller and smaller points in time and space and clear them easier and easier and easier. Because once you've done it, then it's, you know what's going to happen, then it's easier the next time, right?
Yeah.
It was easier for both of you guys doing emo trance the second time, and it's just going to keep getting easier and easier, okay? So I'll use that as a segue into what we're going to be doing tonight, which is something called voice dialogue, okay? And voice, you girls are both really good at playing along, so I don't think it's going to be a challenge for either of you. But for certain types of mental people, it can be a challenge. All it is a game, okay? It's like imagine we're going to play a theater game, okay? Like you don't have to believe in stuff being real, and I don't care if you believe your archetypes exist or if there's any. I don't care. We're just going to pretend that your mind is made up of a bunch of little characters, right? And those characters we call archetypes. And an archetype is a role, okay? And we all learn to interact with the world based on roles. So we learn how our mother interacts, and we learn how our brother interacts, we learn how our father interacts, and those become archetypes. So if I ask you to play the role of a father right now, you could both stand up and grab a pipe and put your hand in, you know, and act like a father, right? Like everybody knows how to do a father, you know, how do you do a mother? You know, you're cooking or you're holding a baby or you like whatever. Like you can play that, you know those roles, okay? We're just going to play a game of accessing those roles inside our minds, but I'm going to talk. I'm going to have a dialogue. That's where you get the term voice dialogue. I'm going to have a dialogue with each of those voices. Now, typically, this is done one-on-one, but you girls have done a lot of this, and you're really good at thinking together, so I want to do it with you guys together simultaneously. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. So the way this is going to work is it's just going to be like a simple guided meditation, and I'm just going to talk you into accessing these different of your archetypes. And what's going to happen is I'm going to ask questions, and either of you can answer. It doesn't matter to me who answers first. If you both answer at the same time, you can go one and then the other. It doesn't matter. What's important is that you open the space inside to feel your own answer. Okay. So if Angela gives an answer verbally, Deanna, you might have felt a different answer. Like, know that your answer is real too. It's just as real as her answer, right? And if you want to share your answer after she shares hers, that's fine. If you don't feel the need to share because you see it and you feel it and that's cool, then that's good too. But I want at least one of you to answer each of these questions so that it can be a dialogue back and forth, right? Like it's voice dialogue. So we're going to talk back and forth, call and response. I'm going to ask a question, and either of you are going to respond, and if both of you respond, that's fine. And all we're going to do is see what happens. There's no end goal. We're not trying to save the world or become enlightened yesterday. It's just a process, and then we're going to talk about what we experienced when we come out the other side. Is that cool?
Yes.
Awesome. Any questions?
No.
No.
Awesome. Okay. So here we go. Let yourself come up tall, spine up straight, deep inhale. Let your body float up with that inhale, and feel everything in your body melt like butter with your exhale. Again, inhale, floating up, soft, and then exhale, melting down, finding the body's most natural alignment where the spine is stacked perfectly, shoulders completely relaxed, everything balanced and comfortable. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to ask to speak to different parts of your persona. And when I do, say if I ask to speak to the voice of the mother, I'll have you adjust your body any way you need to become the role of the mother, and then I'll say, who am I speaking to? And you're going to answer, you're speaking to the mother. That means you have assumed the role the voice of the mother. Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start with the controller, which is basically the super ego. And you're going to let your body move and adjust any way it needs to become the voice of the controller. You're going to switch into that archetype and become the voice of the controller. And every answer you give me is only from the perspective of the controller. Who am I speaking to?
The wife.
No, I need to speak to the controller.
That's us, right?
Who's the controller?
Yes. Okay, so if I ask to speak to the controller, and then I say, who am I speaking to? You say,
Me.
Hmm.
you're speaking to the controller. Yes, so whatever voice I ask to speak to, you're going to mirror that voice back to me, letting me know you've assumed that role. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, so take a deep breath, allow your body to move, and assume the voice of the controller. Who am I speaking to?
The controller.
Awesome. Now, as the controller, what is your role?
My role as the controller is, I don't know, to rule? To rule this body and mind.
And how do you go about doing it? Right? And how do you go about doing that?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
How do you go about controlling?
I make decisions. I make
Like what kind of decisions?
I make the decision to get out of bed every day, to go to work,
Uh-huh.
to do the mundane. I make the decisions. I don't know if that will.
All the organizational stuff.
Yes, basically the admin position.
Right. The admin. I love it. I love it. And is that an important role?
It's important, but it's very boring.
It's boring.
It's a lot of responsibility.
There is that.
There
But
is
it's
a
also
lot
very
of
boring.
responsibility. But would you trust anybody else to do it?
No.
Right. Right. That's why you're the controller. And is there as the controller, what would you like to control if you could?
My emotions.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else?
My own body. I would like to control my own body.
Love it. Anything else?
I'm not so concerned about controlling my emotions. I don't. At this juncture, I don't mind feeling any way that I need to feel.
Good. Good. And Angela's controller, is there anything that you would like to control if you could control anything and everything?
I feel like I already control everything and anything.
Ooh, wow, you're a powerful controller. And as a controller, what do you fear the most?
Losing control.
What would that feel like? What would that look like?
I would feel lost because I'm the one that says this is what needs to get done, this is where we need to be. I'm the one that takes care of everything.
Mm-hmm. And so if you fear lack of control, then that's going to make you control even more, huh?
Yes.
Got you. Got you. And can you imagine ever being comfortable not controlling?
I would like to be able to not have all of the responsibilities that I have. I would like to be able to divvy those up and feel comfortable divvying those up.
Mm-hmm. I understand. So, to both of your controllers, I would like to ask for permission to go in and talk to certain other voices. Is that okay with both of you?
Yes.
Sure.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And if at any time you feel the need to control or change what's happening, please just chime in and we'll happily discontinue, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Beautiful. So now I'd like for both of you to shift your bodies any way that you need to assume the voice of the skeptic. Who am I speaking to?
The skeptic.
And what is your role?
My role is to cast doubt, make the controller think twice about every decision she makes.
How do you do that?
By making her look at more than one side of a certain argument, opinion.
Nice. And what kind of things are you skeptical of?
Being married.
Uh-huh. What else? And Angela skeptic can share too.
Mine's not trusting. Not trusting that things will get done when I ask them to. Not having the faith in being gone somewhere and knowing that they're getting done. And then the disappointment when I arrive and they're not done.
And what else are you skeptical about?
Trusting.
Mm-hmm. What else? Is there anything that the skeptic is not skeptical of?
The skeptic is not sure we'd be able to be a good mother.
Hmm. Hmm. And do you think the skeptic is ever sure about anything?
No.
That's why you're the skeptic. Well, thank you very much for sharing with us. You're going to go ahead and let your bodies move and shift any way they need to become the voice of the victim. Who am I speaking to?
Victim.
The victim.
What is your role?
To be walked on. To be the verbal punching bag.
Anything else?
To be the person that carries the burdens.
Mm-hmm. And what do you feel victimized by?
I feel victimized by the things that people say.
Mm-hmm. What else?
I feel victimized by feeling as if I'm the only one that can do things, that it always falls on my shoulders for everything to get done.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
When I express that I don't like the way something is, then but it's always my fault. It's always my fault that somebody didn't have time to do something, or something wasn't ready for somebody to use it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Now let's allow that victim, allow the body to shift in any way we need to become the wounded child. Who am I speaking to?
The wounded child.
And what is your role?
To do everything my mother tells me to do.
And how did you learn that?
Through punishment.
And what did that punishment make you feel like?
Unloved.
And do you believe you were unloved?
No.
But you still feel it.
Yes.
That's an important distinction. And how do you manifest yourself in Angela's life?
I tell her that she's not doing it right. She needs to do it better. She needs to hurry up and get it done. Just do it.
And do you feel like your perception of Angela could have any relationship to your perception of your mother?
Yes.
What is that relationship about?
She's bossy.
And do you feel like you're bossy too?
Yeah.
And do you feel like you learned that?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you could be a wounded child without being bossy?
Yeah.
You would be softer then, right?
Yeah, but if I'm softer, then I would have to have feelings, and I don't want to have feelings.
Well, if you're not having feelings, you're not a very good wounded child, are you?
No.
Are you hiding from the wounded child?
Sometimes.
If you could say something directly to Angela, what would it be?
Not to be so hard on herself. She doesn't have to hide all the time.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
She's smart.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing. Now I'd like for you both to move your bodies any way you need to assume the voice of the magical child. Who am I speaking to?
The magical child.
What is your role?
To make people happy.
To have fun.
And what are your favorite ways to do that?
Play with my friends.
Pretend.
Nice. And how do you manifest yourself in each other's lives?
I like to paint.
Those tiny moments of silliness, those are me.
And do you feel like you get enough silly moments?
No.
And what do you think that Deanna or Angela could do to create more of those silly, creative, magical moments?
Be less serious.
Anything else?
Put time aside to do the things she wants to, like paint.
Draw.
What else?
Laugh.
What else?
Try not to sweat the small things.
Relax.
And as the magical child, anything you fear?
A box.
Being alone.
I don't like being confined.
That's good to know. And is there anything in your life that makes you feel confined?
The cubicles at work.
Anything else?
Silence.
What?
Silence makes you feel alone.
Okay, beautiful thing with us. Now you're going to let your bodies adjust and move in any way they need to become the seeking mind. The seeking mind. Who am I speaking to?
Seeking mind.
And what is your role?
To learn. To discover.
And what are you trying to learn?
Anything and everything.
I
like to know how things work.
And can you imagine knowing enough to not still be seeking?
No.
No.
Because then you wouldn't be the seeker. So you are an action, which is actually not seeking a resolution. Is that accurate?
That would be an accurate statement.
Nice. Nice. And as the seeking mind, is there anything that you fear? How does the seeking mind feel about an answer?
It ponders the answer. Doesn't accept it as truth. Seeks another resolution, if there is one out there.
Very good description. Thank you very much, seeking mind. Now allow your bodies to both shift, and you're going to move into the voice of big mind. The biggest mind you can find. Allow your body to become big mind. Who am I speaking to?
Big mind.
The boss.
And as big mind, how big are you?
Really big.
Infinite.
Can you find any beginnings or any endings?
No.
No.
Nice. And what is your role?
I oversee. I'm the overseer.
And do you oversee and change things, or do you simply observe?
I observe.
Big mind observes. And if big mind observes, does that mean big mind accepts?
No.
No.
What does big mind not accept?
Big mind doesn't accept that you don't want to change. You don't want to move and let things happen.
Can you find a bigger mind?
No.
Can you find a bigger mind, Deanna? See if you can find a bigger mind that can allow everything to be as it is.
I don't know if it's a bigger mind. Equal in size, infinite, just the same, but two different.
Very, very good distinction. So shift for me into the accepting big mind. And from there, look at everything that you are, everything that is, you can see and find, and see if there's anything you do not accept.
I do not accept the doubt.
Is there anything else?
I don't accept the victim. We aren't the victim.
Is there anything else? Now imagine that the biggest mind has no reason not to accept anything. See if you can imagine that mind.
Win big.
Can you find a mind that has no reason to not accept anything?
My big mind is saying that it's okay to accept.
I love that. I love that. And it's perfectly okay not to accept, but the question is, can we feel complete acceptance at the level of big mind? So it's perfectly okay if she can't, but I want to know if she can imagine big mind that accepts everything exactly as it is.
Not right now.
I understand that completely. So the biggest mind that you can find, seeing everything inside of it. Now allow your body to move and shift any way it needs to into big heart. Who am I speaking to?
Big heart.
And what is your role?
To love.
And what do you love?
Life. I love life.
Anything else?
I love learning something new every day.
And what else does big heart do? What else does big heart love?
Everyone, just as they are,
And everything?
down to the tiniest little creature.
And what does it feel like to love everything?
Feels warm.
Mm.
Overwhelmed.
Is it overwhelming or is it just intense? Let yourself feel it and see. What things make big heart feel the warmest, the biggest?
My children and my grandchildren.
Hmm.
Kindness amongst strangers.
Hmm.
It's easy to be kind to people you already love and know. It's harder to be kind and love and have empathy for people and things you have no idea about.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So now I'd like both of you to let your bodies adjust. And we're going to invite all of these voices into one big unified experience, one big unified voice. We're going to imagine ourselves as the integrated, fully functional self. So now we're the integrated, fully functional self. Who am I speaking to?
The fully self.
And what is your role?
I have everything.
I have no idea what my role
Is what?
is. I have no idea what my role is.
Is there anything missing? Anything needed? Anything feared? Anything regretted, or are all things whole and accepted and have their place in space and time? What does life look like as the fully functional, integrated self? All the colors of the rainbow available at any given moment. Each part knows its role exactly and is welcome to play its role fully. What does life feel like? Now imagine this next week. Imagine life as the fully integrated, functional self. You are a Swiss Army knife, and you have just the right tool for every circumstance. And you have no need for fear or regret. What would life feel like?
Complete, unstressful.
Peaceful.
Imagine it. Visualize it. What does it look like in your mind's eye?
It looks like the color yellow.
Nice. Make a bookmark of this image, this color, this sound of what life feels like as the integrated, fully functional self. Remember this position that you're sitting in right now and use it as an anchor to create this state. You'll need to do it physically for a while, but in a very short amount of time, you'll be able to just think about this position and create this state. So now go a week or two into the future when all you have to do is think about this state, this position in your body, and you immediately feel this state of being. Take a deep breath and ground that state of being. All you got to do is think that image, and that state of being washes through you like a breath. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Let everything dissolve. Let anything part of your body that needs to move, wiggle, stretch. And whenever you're ready, gently open your eyes. Still keeping a door open to that fully integrated, functional self 2-3 weeks from now. All right. Welcome back. How do you ladies feel?
Tired.
My head is hot. It's very warm up here. And the rest cold.
Isn't that funny? Mine is too.
My forehead.
My body is cold.
Yeah, the rest of my body's cold, but right up in
Right
here,
here is warm.
in this region, it's like warm.
Yeah, you just opened your third eye inside out.
Yeah.
Energetically. Okay, so that process started out as voice dialogue, and then I took it into a process called Big Mind, Big Heart, because it's a kind of easy way to talk people into a Zen kind of state of being. The only difference between voice dialogue and Big Mind, Big Heart is that voice dialogue is just generally used to allow the archetypes to express themselves, whereas Big Mind, Big Heart is specifically designed to talk you into that non-dual state of experience, okay? Which, Deanna, you had a particular resistance to. You recall resisting that non-dual state?
Yes.
So tell me about that resistance. What did that feel like?
It was like they were having conversation with each other, and it was like couldn't come to an agreement about it.
Mm-hmm. Big Mind was not able to accept everything.
No.
Okay, and can you imagine that there's a mind bigger than that Big Mind?
Not yet, no.
You can't even imagine it. Wow. Okay, that's good, and that's good to know. and that is a particular energy blockage that you're going to have to deal with to move beyond a certain type of perception. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And I'm almost positive that that energy is connected to your mother, but there could be other things that Big Mind isn't willing to accept as well. Do you think your mom is the main one, or are there other things also?
I would have to say she's the main one.
The main one. Okay. Good. So I want to get into that with you very soon, and we can talk after tonight about how to do that, because it will change your life dramatically when you let that energy release. When you stop carrying that fear, that angst, that guilt, that anger, like however your mind interprets whatever meaning you created. But I could feel that in your resistance to Big Mind tonight, and it was perfect. And I'm really glad you allowed yourself to just be real and like, no, that's all I got, because that's what it takes to have a real dialogue. I never want you like pretending and telling me what you think I want to hear, because in voice dialogue, you're not trying to get a specific answer. You're just trying to create a dialogue. You're trying to give each archetype a platform to express itself. Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in terms of those archetypes and what it felt like as you experienced them, what can you tell me about those feelings when you were going through each of those?
I felt, I just had it too. I felt a lot of, I won't say, not really emotion, but a lot of just racing thoughts were coming.
Mm-hmm.
That were just kind of just racing through, like letters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was really weird.
Right.
I didn't see words or anything like that. It was more, they were their own individuals, but I could feel like it was vibrations or auras. I'm not sure. They each had their own separate feeling.
Yes.
I don't know if it was a feeling or they had their own personality, so they gave off their own
projection.
Projected
I don't want to answer for
different.
you.
No,
I mean, mine was projection.
It was they were giving off vibes, different vibes.
Mm-hmm. That's a really awesome distinction, and always notice those frequencies, those vibes, the colors, the sounds, whatever. But you both were able to really connect with each voice. It seemed like. Did you each feel like you had a clear line to each archetype?
When you did the magical child, the first thing I visioned was skating on the pond with my new skates.
What I envisioned a little fairy.
Did you?
Yes, because Matt calls me a butterfly sometimes, because sometimes I'm not all there. Well, I'm there. I'm just like floating around like he calls me a butterfly. He's like, "Where are you going, butterfly?" Because I'll just.
Energetically, you're totally a butterfly, Deanna.
What?
I said energetically, you are totally a butterfly.
Yeah, because he's like, "Where are you going, butterfly?"
And my question to you, Angela, is why did your magical child not tell us about the skates?
I don't know.
Did you realize that your magical child didn't have much to say at all?
No, I mean, the first thing I visioned was skating on the pond, and the next one was painting. I love to paint.
You did mention painting. That popped out. That's what your magical child.
But that was when I was a young child. I would hide under my bed because my stepfather would be on his way home from work, and we were all told that when he got home, we were all going to get beat for what we did. So I would hide under my bed, and I had paints under my bed, and I would paint. And I would just keep painting
until he got home.
Until he got home. you know, and for some reason I kept feeling like if I just kept painting, he would never come home.
Right.
Like I could paint him away. And I
Right.
still do that. I try to paint him away. So that, I think that's
Yeah,
why.
I noticed you couldn't see your dad's face anymore when we emo tranced him.
No, no, not at all.
So that was like painting away.
Yeah.
Nice. So what's interesting, and I'd love to know you guys take whenever you get around to watching this episode, is to notice that each of you seem to have a little bit of resistance
Yeah.
to different voices, and not that you couldn't hear the voice clearly, but that you just didn't really want to give it a voice. You just really didn't want to like express it. You didn't want to hear what it had to say. I see Deanna smiling. Okay. Now this is the power of doing it one-on-one, is because then I can make each voice actually get to express itself. Hearing what it was saying inside your head, you got the benefit. Okay. You don't have to say it out loud. But if you were repressing those thoughts inside your head and listening to what the other person was saying, that's part of that repression that we're trying to get rid of in this process, right? We want to tap.
I also felt like I didn't want to interrupt anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I couldn't know.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Right. So we're not going to get as much specific gain out of this process doing it in a group. But very much like emo trance, it's the kind of process that once you get it, you can do it with yourself very easily. You can have these same kind of conversations. You can go in and you can talk to your controller. You can go in and you can talk to your victim. You can talk to your wounded child. You can talk to your magical child, especially if you know you need more magic in your life. Tap in like she's there, right? All of these voices are there, and they all have plenty of shit to say. You just have to give them space and ask them questions. Like give them material to work with, right? And the beautiful thing is that once you learn to shift from one archetype into another archetype into another, and you learn the feelings that come with each, and you learn that the feelings change depending on which archetype you're in, you then don't need to fear particular archetypes, right? The same way with emo trance, we learn we don't need to fear specific feelings, and we don't need to fear specific meanings. We don't need to fear specific archetypes either. And so we're literally creating the same process as emo trance. We're just doing it as a dialogue between archetypes rather than a conversation between one mental trigger and a physical stimulus. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the exact same thing, and it will create shifts in your life in the exact same way. Now, you know, how to practice this daily, that we'll have to have a whole nother, course on that or whatever. But what's important right now is that you keep practicing your 60 or 100 second meditation for now. Keep doing that every day, because it's allowed both of you to make really powerful changes in your life. You both have released really important blockages in this, small little 6-week journey. And I think you can see the potential for releasing all of your boundaries and your fears and your blockages with these simple techniques. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, not at all. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
I would say I'm not different, but I think differently.
Nice. And actually, on that, say what?
I would have to say for me, a big step. I was proud of myself Monday for just letting it go, because I never let it go. Do I?
No,
I never let it go, ever. Like, I get wound up and, but I was, when I left, I was like, you know what? I'm really proud of myself for doing that. I'm very proud of myself. That's a big step for me.
Big step. Mm-hmm.
A big step.
Nice. Always notice growth. The more you notice growth, the easier it is to create more of it, right?
I think differently. I feel differently. Feel outside things differently.
Nice. Okay, well, that actually reminds me of something that I wanted to do and then I totally forgotten about. So let's do a quick testimonial because we're at the end of our time and I don't want to keep you guys late. So Deanna, sit on the floor in front of the camera just by yourself and just give me a quick, 30-second, 1 minute long, like as short as you can. This is what I got out of the effortless being, the art of effortless being, like whatever. Just as best you can. Don't stress about it or whatever. Just be as natural, and it can be as long or as short as it wants. Okay? Ready? And action.
Effortless being has allowed me to think differently about outside stimuli, I guess you could say, and how I react to it, and how I feel about it, how I let it feel, how I let myself feel about it. I find that I'm less stressed, and I'm able to just let things roll away because they're not that important, and I'm not going to let them invade my mind anymore and stress me out for no reason. It's a work in progress.
Awesome. Thank you. And Angela, it's such a weird thing to like give a testimonial and everything, but like yeah.
It is. Yes.
Just be as natural as you can. Just what did you get? And come a little bit closer. What did you get out of the art of effortless being?
So what I got out of the art of effortless being was to not be afraid to step inside and bring what hurts forward and let it go. To be able to quiet my mind and not let the small stuff get in the way. It's really gave me a great chance to sit back at the end of every day and just kind of take everything in, and whatever has bothered me for the day, to notice it and then let it travel and then let it go and let it flow out. I've been able to process my daily life a lot better. If something happens and I get a little tense, I just remember that if I give it the stress, it's going to hurt me more than it's going to help me. So I've been able to just bring it in and just recognize it and let it go.
I don't know about you, but I feel lighter.
I do. I have to say yes, absolutely. You're right. Absolutely. It's been a big thing. I think for both of us.
I think so, too.
Yeah. We've discussed our childhood a little between the two of us, so I think it was I couldn't have picked a better person to do it with.
I think so,
and I wish Nancy would have been here with us, but I think it's given us a chance to.
I do too, and it only happened because of her. She asked for a group experience, and
she did.
We kind of shot against the wall what kind of things we could focus on, and she picked this, and it's one of the most important things to my heart that I do because it makes the most difference in people's lives. Like I can teach you to do fun, crazy things on a bar, but that's not necessarily going to affect your home life that much, And maybe if you do it a whole lot, it will, just like anything that you practice a lot is going to make your life better. But this improves your life in a totally different way, And I'm really glad you ladies stuck with it and made it through. And I'm really glad you had the discipline or the wherewithal or whatever to actually do the homework and the practice, because that's what allowed these processes to work so easily on you.
I'm not going to lie, there were some days I just didn't think I could do it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be able to have the emotional, mental capacity to do it. I knew it was going to take a lot. And
to count to 60?
Not counting to 60, but to have these sessions with you.
Oh, to come in and actually do the session. Got you.
No, that's okay, because they are intense.
Right.
And I just didn't know if I was going to be able to
step into that zone.
Exactly. Or it was a little, I don't know about you, but it was a little hesitation. Not a little, there was quite a bit of hesitation, I'm not going to lie. To step into that and basically allow yourself to feel feel all of it.
Yes.
All of it.
All over again.
All over again.
All over again.
How long have we been living with this? And it's not like we don't feel it, but we do push it aside.
Or we stuff it.
We stuff it somewhere.
I stuff it like cake. Oh.
but knowing that we're going to have a session and we have to feel it. We have to feel everything all over again. And when what you mostly want to do is not feel it.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel it. But making yourself do it, because I mean we could have not shown up or just said, no,
forget it. Nobody else is doing it. We're not going to do it.
We're not doing it either.
Yep.
It was hard because we had said, I don't know if we want to do this. I mean, it's
because I mean, I'm sure her stuff is just as bad as mine, and it was just like, I don't know, Angie, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I want to do it. And it was just like, oh, well, if you're going to stay, I guess I'll stay too.
I mean, I felt a sense of commitment.
Yes.
You know, and Nancy, when Nancy had addressed it with us, she said, all I ask is that you guys commit to the 6 weeks. Please commit to it. So I felt a huge sense of commitment to you and a huge sense of commitment to Nancy, a huge one. So I didn't want to back out of that commitment.
Right.
I appreciate that, and we kind of spent the first session, I think that you weren't there, drilling into Deanna this idea of the commitment, and like, you know, it's not, all of it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be, you know, yee ha ha fun, but the skills that you're going to learn will make your life better and easier in the future, and they will continue, like, you know, like geometrically to expand as you use them, as you utilize them, and I feel like that was a huge part of why she was able to stay true, is because she really got that, and she really expressed being concerned about, like, crying and not wanting to go there. She was honest about that from the beginning, and if you can be honest about your resistance, then I can help you with anything. Yeah. But if you negate your resistance and you make excuses for your resistance and you this and that, I can't help you. My techniques won't work, you know. And that very thing is why anytime you do this kind of class, like deal with your emotional shit kind of class, you have a large attrition, because people have every excuse to go, oh yeah, I'm just not willing to go there tonight. I'm just not in the mood to go there. But that's another layer of repression.
Right.
And the whole point of me wanting to do this publicly, I've been doing this kind of work for years, but the whole point of me wanting to do it publicly is so that people can see there's nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to fear going into the memory of your father, because all you're going to do is cry. And once you cry, it's not going to matter so much. Right? Like, that's the worst thing. You might throw up. Like, I'm serious, right?
I haven't heard of him since last week. I haven't even thought of him.
Of what?
Of my father.
Oh, nice. I
hadn't even thought of him. And I saw my stepsister's post, a couple of posts on Facebook with her and her kids and stuff, and I thought, oh wow, that's really cute.
Wow.
But never came into my mind.
That's good.
That's awesome.
That's good.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And is there anything you can share with us, Deanna, about anything that was different after your balance? I know we did your boyfriend and then your aunt.
I'm able to, and it's this thing, because we are, you know, on the iPhone app, and there's this WhatsApp, and we're all on there, my sisters and my aunt, and we all talk on there, and I'm not afraid anymore to mention Matt's name, because I know that would used to upset her, and I can't help that. I can't help that upsets her, and I can't let it upset me.
Right.
And I'm not going to apologize anymore for it, because and thank you for this class, how something affects you is your own problem, your own issue.
The meaning that you created for it.
Exactly. And I can't take that responsibility from her. It's not my fault.
Right.
It's not my fault, and it's not her fault that I was upset with her for that long. It was my fault. And I had to let it go because it was hindering me and my physiology, my body, my mind. It was bothering me, and that's not her issue. It's mine.
Mm-hmm.
So taking responsibility for my reactions to things.
Have you talked to her since this, or
Have I talked to her? Yeah, I talk to her almost daily.
did it make you feel different?
It did. I don't feel any sort of repressed emotions or sadness or anything like that.
Beautiful. We call that feeling clear, not feeling a charge connected to something, and that's how you know you're done. If you're still feeling a charge, do the process again.
Right.
And speaking of that, I'm almost done with the book that covers all the information we went through over these 6 weeks, except for voice dialogue. I brought that in at the end just because I knew you guys needed it. But it covers everything else we did all the way through the Emo Trance. I'm almost done with that. Keep bugging me in the next week to get that to you, and that'll help me finish it up and get it out. Would love your feedback on that as well. I think that will help ground some of these experiences for you, because I know a lot of this stuff, it feels all ephemeral because it's hard to remember everything we did. So there's all this stuff up in the air that happened, and when you see the book and the outlines, and it's just like the first part you got, but it's everything we've covered, all the main bullet points. It'll kind of ground it and make it make sense. Before we finish, I want both of you to assume your anchor, your physical anchor for integrated, fully functional self. Assume your position of fully functional, integrated self. Remember that state. Take a deep breath. Exhale and feel the vastness of that voice. Feel all those tools. Feel all those patterns available at any time. And carry it with you throughout the whole rest of the week. And you can keep going longer than that if you want to, but at least the rest of the week. And peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ladies. Thank you so much. I'm really proud of both of you. I'll probably hit you up for like a written testimonial, just kind of like not the exact same thing you said before, but just some words and like anything small, because I do want to offer this process on a larger basis. So thanks for taking part in it with me. Thanks for having the freedom and openness and bravery to play some games and to shift. And I will talk to both you ladies very soon, and we'll start another series soon on something or another, and I hope you come and play with us again.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Love you too.